Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we are live for RRF1 Vegas, baby. It's Sin City time as we head stateside to the state of Nevada. RF1's first foray into the land of the sinners. What happens in Vegas absolutely stays in Vegas. A few drivers missing tonight. I think we've got about 12 or 13 in the lobby, but as always from the races I have witnessed here in Vegas, always promises to be a spectacular event. Looks pretty dry for qualifying. Usually it's dry in Vegas, so they did have some horrendous rain not too long ago in real life. Flooding throughout a lot of the car parks and underground passageways, but doesn't look like they're going to have any issue with that tonight. Quick look at the circuit then, while we wait for our drivers to come out of the pits. It is, as you can see, an upside down pig! No. It's a very entertaining track. They've obviously got the heading into turn 1. It's a very tricky tight left-hander, which then has another left-hand kink, followed by what I find a very tricky sort of double. I mean, it's one long corner, but it's a double right-hander onto the first of the DRS zone. It's so easy to lose the rear. You've got to be precise. You've got to be careful. Evening, Mr. Mark. Hope you're doing good. Hope work is going well. This is bound to be a barnstormer of a race. I was expecting it to be short qualifying, but I've just noticed there's a big Q1 on the top left. So I'm not sure if that's a mistake or not. With only 13 drivers, Q1 will be pretty pointless. I can see some drivers already. I think Ewan's already gone to the intermediates. You may as well not waste a set of tyres here. But yeah, as you head down towards turn 5, it's a very almost Singapore Baku style right-hander. You've got a wall inviting you on the left-hand side as you make that right-hander. Tricky to go too wide there. You want to get the overtake done probably a little bit before then, or be ahead into the braking zone. Otherwise, you could be squeezing each other towards the wall. And then for me, one of the toughest corners on the calendar, especially if you're running no ABS. Now, I run ABS, but if you run no ABS, heading around that left-hander. Let's just get onto a car while we're doing this. Let's have a little go on board with Mr. Hambo. I think he's going to be first. Sorry, with Rarachon. He's going to be the first person round. But while we're waiting for that, let's go further round. So yes, turn 7 and 8. He's got sort of a long left-hander where you're at speed, and then you're braking and turning all at the same time, which is always a trick. It reminds me of that downhill left-hander in Bahrain for that chicane. But we'll go on board then. With Rarachon. He's about to start a lap, so we'll go back to the stream now, and then we'll look at the stand-ins in between qualifying. Okay, so this is that sort of long right-hander I was talking about. Lots of understeer in that Alpha from Rarachon. It did not want to grip up. Maybe he hasn't got his tyre temperature, maybe, I mean, they'll all be running low wing setups, I imagine. Tight right-hander then. Oh, just scrapes the wall, loses the rear a little bit. We probably will see quite a bit of that around here. And this is that horrible turn brake left-hander where you're having to do everything at once, come down the gears. It's such a slippery track. The car's just constantly on edge because you've got such a low downforce setup. It is one for the drivers that really get stuck into. Flat out now as we head towards the tight left before the long straight. Now you want to get this perfect, because if you mess this corner up, then you are compromised all the way down. And this is where we have seen 2, 3, even 4 wide in some of the pre-season races in some of the leagues. I did not see Saturday, Mark, but I imagine it's going to be pretty chaotic. There's 13 drivers, so hopefully not too chaotic, because we want to get most of these to the finish line. And there we have it, the end of the long straight. Tricky little chicane, and then a kink to the left, and then it's foot flat to the floor. You've got one more little bend coming up where you want to almost Singapore style cut the left-hand side. Doesn't quite touch the curbs with Rarachon, but our first lap in Vegas is a 1:35.7 then. Next across the line is going to be, it's a blue car which I'm missing, so 32.6. It's 3 seconds quicker from Mr. Kamarov, and Betches on the mediums is a 1:34.2. We've got Ollie Champ coming across the line next. Of course, I didn't get a chance to do qualifying last week because we had the reverse grid, which provided arguably one of the most entertaining races. And Ollie Champ goes fastest so far with a 32.3 in the Haas. We've got the Mercedes, the mighty Mercedes, on the intermediate tyres. Maybe there's rain, or maybe you just want to waste a set of tyres, but this isn't going to be too quick. And no, 38.6 on the intermediate tyres. But yeah, last week at Zandvoort was an incredible Grand Prix. Really, really good. Reverse grids, had a bit of controversy. Some people didn't like the idea, but as far as the race is concerned, it was absolutely incredible. Non-stop action from start to finish. Who have we got next? I just missed Whitey crossing the line. We have a blue dot coming across somewhere, which I believe will be Scott. And it is, so we'll see what Scott can manage. He's in the Alpine. He's currently going on the soft tyres. Be a good indication to see what sort of lap times people are doing. I missed Zero's time, actually. He's just gone faster with a 32.2. Very quick driver. As Scott puts in a 34.5. We've got a Alfa Romeo of Raratron. Doing as usual, just getting some laps in. I've seen this from him before. He just gets his eye in, does some laps early on. It does go a tenth quicker to a 35.6. And then there's an Aston Martin just starting a lap. Who's that? Grim Refear. It's a cool name, that, isn't it? Grim Refear. 9 people watching the stream so far, and it's only just started with qualifying, so thank you all so much for tuning in to the Sin City Grand Prix. And let's go on board now with the Aston Martin. Grim Refear. I'm just going to leave you with the Aston Martin for a second while I quickly see my 6-year-old boy is in front of me about 1 second. And we're back. Don't have children, ladies and gentlemen. I shouldn't say that. So Grim Refear then, he is now down the long straight. You can get, tell you what, if teammates work together down here, you can get some massive toes. We'll see who goes the fastest. 221 mile an hour. He's 222 mile an hour he's topping out at before he hits the brakes hard. A little bit tentative, I would probably say. You'll probably find the drivers picking up more speed and be a bit more daring as we head into Q2. Of course, we won't lose anyone out of this session. Round the final corner he goes, and it's a 35.7 for the Aston driver. I think we've got a McLaren of Danny starting there. So Danny, of course, was my driver of the day last time out. So I'm intrigued to see what Mr. Danny can do. Doesn't appear to be travelling overly quick at the moment, but he had a recovery drive to remember last time out in Zandvoort. The German showing his Vettel Schumacher style driving. and that was close as an AlphaTauri there, coming very close to him. I'm not really sure what else Danny could have done there. He was about as far over to the left as he could possibly have done. It is Big Perry. Let's have a look at Big Perry. Not over familiar with him, but we'll see what he can manage. Good camera angle around here. That's that tight left-hander. Runs deep. I think we'll see a lot of people running deep as they find their break point, and Zero retires in the pits, as has Kamarov. Happy with what they've done. Ollie Champ, I missed his lap. Sorry, Ollie. 32.396. So some quick times from Zero, Ollie and Kamarov up front, all in the 32s. So looking at this just being Q1, I'd probably expect a lot of these guys to be getting comfortably into the 31s by the time we get to the business end of Q3. Few guys coming up to the finish line to finish their laps, so we'll see what times they put in, but we'll stay with Big Perry. Mighty AlphaTauri. 4 drivers they're onto now this season. So, in real life, of course, Daniel Ricciardo was looking to make a comeback and then decided to leave his hand on the steering wheel and broke it. You then had Liam Lawson, who had a pretty good drive, actually, I thought. Liam Lawson is pretty impressive. Mr. Mark, thank you. Subscribed with Prime. I have no idea how that affects me or what that does, but I really do appreciate anyone that shows an interest in my streams. And like I said, I've only just started doing this again, commentary. So if you like what you see, do what they tell you to do on YouTube. What is it they say? Hit that like, smash a like button. Smash the like. Hit that subscribe button. Share with your friends. I don't know what those influencers do. I'm not sure I'd ever make it as an influencer. I'm not sure you'd get hotels really getting me to, or you know, go and stay in their property. I mean, they're probably more entertaining than some of the influencers, but I've probably not got the looks of some of these blonde bombshells that don't wear many clothes. I think. Anyway, we won't talk about me in no clothes. That's probably not what you're here for. As Dark Mark retires in the pits, happy with his work so far. We'll see what Danny can do. We missed Hambo do a 32.4, so that's 4 drivers now into the 32s. We are watching Danny at the moment. Probably just looking after his tyres just to get a lap in. He's on a 2-minute 10 so far, so not setting them alight, not setting the lap board alight. Smash the like, love it. Yes, we love a like. Can you like this? Can I like it? No, there is no like. Apparently I can follow myself. Oh, I'm already following myself, that's awkward. That's when you know you've got no friends, when you follow yourself. Anywho, who hasn't set a lap yet? Big D. What's Big D doing? I had a nice little battle with him around Abu Dhabi last night. Good racer, Big D, in the Ferrari tonight. Up to 15 drivers so far, so not far off a full... we'll have a full Q2 at least. Big D's going on the outside there of Danny. This is the long start straight. Long start straight. Perry P. the Platypus. Perry the Platypus. Obviously a fan of the other Perry. Big Perry and Perry the Platypus. Are you the same people or two different Perrys? I imagine you're two different Perrys because Big Perry is on a outlap, so I imagine he's not typing in the chat. I imagine that is the Platypus. Sorry, I'm not overly familiar with Big Perry, but he is the GOAT apparently, so we will watch his lap. We'll go on board with the GOAT, not the Platypus, and see what he can manage as he heads around this awkward sort of turn 3. It's on the power nice and early. That was a nice start to the lap. Oh, same person. Oh, okay, sorry. Stop typing in the chat then. I'm joking, do what you want. Oh, and the subscription as well. Thank you. I don't have a clue what this does, this subscription thing for me. But thank you. That's 2 people already. So awesome. And apparently I have a hype train. Choo choo ka-choo. There is a hype train. I don't know what that is. I am spectating Big D, aren't I? we'll follow Big Perry in Q2. We'll do a Big Perry on board as soon as he comes out of the pits, just for you. Sorry about that. My head is up my arse apparently. It's been a long day. There we go then, Big D down the long straight then. We saw I think 222 is the fastest I've seen so far. We'll see what Big D can manage. He's at 220 as he goes to the braking zones. Similar speeds, I think people will be aiming to get to sort of 220 and above at the speed. So they'll all be running low downforce. See what he can manage then. 32 seem to be where you want to be at if you want to get anywhere near the front. Around the final corner, he's into the 33s, so up there with Davies, 5th and 6th for the Red Bull and the Ferrari. See who else is on a lap. There's an Alpha Tauri coming around. That is Whitey, who has invalidated. There's a Red Bull of Davies, who is on an in-lap. That might well be it for Q1. Like I said, everyone is through anyway. But the Red Bull of Davies, is he still pushing? No, he's not pushing. And we have a... Is that Scott in the Alpine? It is. He's 2/10 down at the moment. Just getting his eye in by the looks of it. Up to 13 viewers now. This is some stunning stuff. You're all obviously tuning in to see these legends of RRF1. We rise together. Will they be rising after a night out in Las Vegas? I can tell you from experience, they will not be rising after a night out in Las Vegas. They will be sleeping it off. And into the pits he comes. It's a bit of a tricky pit lane, this. This last corner in the pit lane reminds me a little bit of Singapore. You know, it's a little bit tricky, and if you lose a front wing around here, you might be missing the pit entry. It's a bit on the tricky side. So I'd imagine that is it. Big D will be coming into the pits. I imagine he's still going for it, actually. Maybe he's gone for a second push lap. No, coming into the pits. So Big D into the pits. Oh, be careful with that white line, Mr. Big D. Sneaky, sneaky. So yes, that is going to be everybody coming into the pits. 3 minutes left of Q1, but that should be it now. I'll keep my eye on it on my screen, but in the meantime, what we'll do is we'll have a quick nosy at the standings. Like I said, Master Spread is not racing tonight, and neither is Bacon Soda. So that gives Kamarov, who's 6 points behind these top two in the championship, a chance to leapfrog them. Same with Dark Mark. So it's very close to the top. So surprising that Master Spread and Bacon have opted to miss this race. Clearly, don't want to get in trouble with their misses by having a night out in Vegas. So yeah, Spread and Bacon Soda, top two in the championship, both on 111 points, both opting to miss this race. Kamarov and Dark Mark both just 6 points behind. Kamarov missed the last race, so he'll be hoping to regain the lead in the championship here today. Atkins in the Haas currently running in 5th place. Or currently in 5th place, he's not running in 5th, it's just the standings. Rara has left the session, let's get him back in. Where is Raratron? Where is he? That would be the chickens that are scared to do the track. Yep. Pussies, that's what I call them. Right, invite to game. Okay, so Atkins then P5 in the championship ahead of Apex. Apex also missing tonight, as is Mr. Atkins. We've got Davies currently P7 in the championship, so he'll be looking to leapfrog these guys, move up to P5. A decent lap in qualifying. I've seen some good pace from Davies recently. Definitely some improvement. Certainly getting some speed behind the wheel. Ewan currently P8. He did this lap on the Inters in Q1. You've got Rara. I think I mentioned this last week, but one of my favourite comms guys. He's currently P9 in the championship, and a chance to close up on some of the guys that are missing tonight. Bit of an unlucky race for him in Zandvoort. You've got Al, who's in P10, ahead of Scott. Icebreaker in P12, ahead of A72. Hambo, the returning Hambo, who raced last week but had some issues himself. He's running in P14, but he has got pace to burn. Akadream not here tonight. Your Robbie not here. Grenade and Hyperigniter not here. And then, of course, you've got the 2 vacant seats in the Williams and the Haas. Constructors' Championships, as you can see, very tight at the front. It's very tight all the way through, really, from 1st down to 6th, with Williams, Aston, Haas, McLaren, Mercedes and Alpine. So crucial points for both constructors and drivers tonight. Red Bull not a million miles away, and Ferrari again just a little bit further back, with Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri struggling a little bit in P10. Of course, they have Akadre not racing tonight. Who's in the AlphaTauri tonight? So you got Big Perry in the AlphaTauri. He'll be looking to pick up some points for them. But here you go, we'll do a quick rundown. Let me get the stream back up. It's a Q1, not massively important for Q1 because everyone goes through, so it's good for them to get some laps in, get some practice in. But your fastest in Q1 then was 1:32.2, just under 2/10 clear of Ollie Champ in the Haas. Hambo P3 ahead of Kamarov. Davies in P5 ahead of Big D. And then Betcher and Scott. Whitey in P9 ahead of the Dark Mark. Rara, Grim Reefear, Ewan, Big Perry, and Danny. A72. Yes, you can still join A72. Just means you'll be starting from P16. But I'm sure there'll be some incidents within the race to get yourself back up there. Let me see if I can get you an invite. Are you on Xbox A72? I imagine you'll be on Recently Played With. A72. A72. Oh, PS5. I'm not going to lie, Mr. A72. I have no idea how to invite you. Let me go into the Discord and see if I can get someone to invite you. 1 second. Oh, there we go. Dark Mark will invite you in a second. Okay, so this is Q2. This is where the big boys come to play. This is where we now lose some drivers. Obviously, A72 will be starting from P16, so that is our first driver that we know we've definitely lost. There is movement. It's Alfa Romeo and a Williams, by the looks of it, about to come out as well. They're all coming out now to get a lap in. Like I said, we will do a lap on board with Big Perry. The goat, the platypus. He's not coming out at the moment, so who's going to be our first person? It is an Alfa Romeo. It's Mr. Hambo, Mr. Crash-Stappen himself. We'll see what he can manage then. And oh, and as we say that, he very nearly bins it on his outlap. I said it is a tricky corner, that, you know, if you're going to make a mistake there, a little bit like what you have at Singapore and Baku, you're going to have to do the run-off and do a little bit of a spinneroonie to get yourself back round. Evening, Woodsy. Welcome to the stream. Doing the Saturday table. Of course, RF1 race Mondays with a 50% equal performance. They race Wednesdays with a 50% equal performance, and they have their 100% distance on steroids realistic league. So if you ever fancy racing like the big boys, racing like real racing drivers, as real as it can be in the virtual world, RF1 on Saturdays is your place to be. So get in touch with Woodsy and Dartmark if that is what you fancy doing in the future. It's always entertaining. You get some of the guys who are maybe not usually at the front, fighting at the front because they have the quicker cars, and then the faster guys who end up in the slower cars, having to try and battle with cars they don't usually battle with, which is always entertaining. So, here we go. On board with Hambo. See what he can do as we head into turn 1. See how he takes this. Ooh, misses the apex. He's got an Aston Martin. Did that put him off a little bit? Probably just in his peripheral. Keeps it nice and tight around this long turn 3. Just missed the apex of turn 1 though, so that'll cost him a couple of tenth or two maybe. And this is very nearly lost it on the outlap. Keeps it nice and tidy this time. Oh, just loses the rear a little bit. Slidey. We're going to see a lot of cars doing that around the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Welcome to the stream, Mr. Pokemon Peter. We'll find out who your favourite Pokemon is right after this lap. My favourite will and always be the GOAT, the one and only, voiced by Mr. Ryan Reynolds, Detective Pikachu. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if you prefer old school. That film, Detective Pikachu, is incredible. And if you've ever got a Pikachu voiced by Ryan Reynolds, it is the ultimate combination. Anyway, back to Formula 1. Mr. Hambo, heading down the long straight. What speed is that mighty Alfa Romeo going to get to? Keeps it tight to the left-hand side. He'll slowly drift towards the right-hand side, as you can see now. He's at 220, topping out at 220 mile an hour. Carries speed through. Oh, just carries a bit too much curb there a little bit. Pushes him over to the right-hand side. Just scrapes the wall a little bit, losing a bit of concentration there. He's probably been on the drink, as our Hambo. Wouldn't surprise me. And a 33.8 for Mr. Hambo. We've got some other cars coming across the line here, including a Haas of Ollie Champ. Comes across the line. Betcher immediately beats Hambo. Ollie Champ straight into the 32s with a 32.6. Big D comes across the line to a 34.6 himself. And Aston Martin looks like he's just starting a lap. Now, where is Big Perry? He is currently on a lap. He's purpled Sector 1 apparently, so this is looking good from the GOAT. Or the platypus, as you should call him. A little bit tentative there as he heads onto the long straight. 32.5 from 0. I've just been told this is Hambo's first race back as a permanent driver. So he's been a reserve on his comeback last time, and this is his first race back as a permanent driver. So all eyes on the new Alfa Romeo driver. I think I said driver about 4 times then. Just in case you didn't know, he's a driver. Big Perry then. Nice and smooth there. Oh, he's just lost the rear. Did he clip the inside wall base? Backed out. And the GOAT is heading towards the pits. He'll go again. He must have picked up a little bit of wing damage there. It was looking like a pretty solid lap so far, but just lost the rear. And that is... he's going to have to go again, is Big Perry. We've got an Aston Martin coming around. Ewan, what can he manage? Around the final corner. 1 minute 33.0. Good lap there from Ewan. He's been a bit unlucky this season But he puts in a good effort there to show his hand straight into a 33.0. There's an Alfa Romeo coming across the line there. I think that was... is that a block? I don't think it is. I think they're both on laps. Davies is stuck behind Rara here, actually. He is on a lap, actually, so hopefully that hasn't cost him too much time. We'll see what he finishes a lap with as the other Red Bull gets clean out of the way. That looked very nice through there from Davies. As I mentioned before, picked up quite a lot of speed. Pokemon Peter saying, good, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Ryan Reynolds, that man there, I'm a married man. I'm a straight married man. A 33.4 for Davies crossed the line. I said, I'm not sure how much time it cost him, if any. I just caught it late, whether it was just getting a tow from Mr. Rara, we don't know. Rara now is back on a lap himself. But yeah, that man, Ryan Reynolds, that voice is silky smooth. He's a very, very sexy man. Very, very sexy man. So when you put Ryan Reynolds' voice inside a Pikachu body, it is gold dust. I don't care what anybody says. But yeah, we'll get back to some action now. Rara at the moment, which runs a little bit wide there. Oh no, actually, that looked like quite a good line. Maybe that's the best line to take. Goes wide as you can, almost kiss the wall to take a wide entry into that chicane to get as much speed out as possible. He's got a Red Bull right on his tail. I believe that'll be Davies. Yeah, it must be because Zero is in the pits. Does look, I saw this in Q1, does look to be a bit of an understeer in that Alfa Romeo. I wonder if he's running a low front wing compared to some of the others. We'll see what speed he gets up to now. This will tell us what sort of wing level Rara is using. The 222 is the fastest I've seen so far. Ooh, 214. Oh, but he's not using his ERS, so he's not on a push lap. Okay, fair enough. Dartmark has been on the M25 for the last half of the evening, so he's probably not had too much practice. But it's still a good opportunity for Dartmark now to gain some good points over Master Spread and Bacon. So he's a good racer, Dartmark. We know what he brings to the table. Where is the Red Bull of Davies? He's coming to the pits. Who else have we got on a lap at the moment then? So Whitey's the next one across the line. So he's currently done a 34.8 on medium tyres. So let's have a look. Yeah, best time so far from Whitey is on mediums. He's on the softs, is he? Oh no, he's on the mediums again. So Whitey hoping to try and get through on the medium tyre, which would be quite an effort. Final corner then for the AlphaTauri driver, Whitey. Round he goes. It's a 34.6. Good effort from Whitey on those medium tyres, ahead of Big D. There's still 4 more drivers still to go. Of course, you've got the Platypus, the GOAT, Big Perry. You've still got Danny, who, as we say that, Danny, the GOAT from Zandvoort, my driver day from last week, has just become the first driver into the 31s. Oh, I would have loved to have been on board with that. Sorry, Danny, I missed your lap. 31.8, 7 tenths clear of Zero, and Zero is a quick driver himself. So this is going to be an interesting race to see who can get to Danny. We do have an Aston Martin of Grim Fear coming across. He's level with his time at the moment. He's coming to the pit, so he wasn't improving. Kamarov is currently on an outlap. Dark Mark is on an outlap, staying close to Kamarov. Who else is on a lap then? Scott, I believe, has just started a lap. Let's go on board with Scott then. See what he can manage. Nice and smooth through there. A little bit of wheel spin on the exit, but wasn't too bad. Keeps it nice and tight. It's that tight left-hander. It was nice and smooth. I think that's probably the best way to do Sector 1, really. You've got to try and be as smooth as possible because the rear end just wants to step out all the time. Purple in Sector 1, though, for Scott. That's 7 tenths up on his best so far. What can Scott manage in the next 2 sectors? Maybe he's running a bit higher wings than maybe some of the others. We'll soon find out as he heads down this long straight. Like I said, it's looking silky smooth so far from the Alpine driver. He does have a couple of cars ahead of him, but they should be clear by the time he gets to the start-finish line. He's got Danny up ahead. 217 mile an hour, 218 mile an hour, not 219 mile an hour. He's not too far off the fastest we've seen so far, so missed the apex a little bit, but again, good run through there. This is looking like a good effort from Scott. What can he manage? He's got just the final kink to go. It's flat out round this corner, so you can't really call it corner as such. Around the final corner, it's a 33.4, improves by 0.7 of a second to put himself comfortably into the top 10. P6, he goes. It's an Alfa Romeo of Hambo. He's just started in his outlap. Who else have we got in a lap? We've got, who's first, Kamarov or Darkmark? It is the Darkmark. So Darkmark then, the two championship protagonists who are both looking to leapfrog Spread and Bacon Soda. What can Darkmark do? He will cross the line first, and then we'll see Kamarov. Darkmark's practice has been driving a lorry on the M25, I believe. I assumed it was a lorry, actually. He didn't actually mention them, was he? Was it a lorry he's driving? Was it just his own car? It's a 33.2. Good effort from the Darkmark, considering he's not really... and Kamarov has pitted. So Kamarov is going to be leaving it very late to get a lap in here. Clearly not happy with something. Oh, he's got damage, so yeah, a mistake from Kamarov. So the pressure telling... as the Platypus has stolen the setup off Google. No practice and the back end is so unstable. Yeah, this is... I mean, even with a solid setup, the back end round here is unstable. Especially that sort of turn 3-4 before the first DRS straight. I just find that corner there, you've got to be so delicate and so precise with your throttle application, with your turning, when you get on the power. It's just a really tricky corner. So who have we got on a lap now? It's coming to the pits. There is an Alfa Romeo. It's Hambo. So Hambo 9/10 up at the moment. He's currently doing a 33.8. So he's looking to get solidly. He's 1.3 seconds up now. So mid-32 as we stand. But what can he do in the final sector? Can he get close to Danny's time? And oh, very close to invalidation. Takes lots of curb. This is looking right on the edge for Hambo. Across the line is going to come in the next few seconds. Just the final kink to go. How much curb does he take? Cuts it well. It's a 31.9. He's just a 10th off Danny. And Danny has some competition. Dragoon is our resident lorry driver. I do apologise. Dragoon, the Alpine fanboy, will be very happy after Zandvoort. For those that haven't watched the race, where have you been? I'm going to spoil it for you anyway. And, ooh, what was going on there? Hambo having to get out of the way of a Williams of Kamarov. That was mighty close. One on an outlap, one on an inlap, so it didn't really make any difference. But I think they both went the same way, and then Hambo had to suddenly dart back the other way, which was a little bit scary there. But like I said, no harm, no foul. We will stay with Kamarov actually, because he has to get this lap in now. It's now or never for the Sergeant. Big Perry is further up as well. As who else is on a lap? Whitey, they're both about to start a lap. As is the Mercedes of Ewan. Go keep my eye on their times. We'll stay with Mr. Kamarov, who has an Alfa Romeo. Oh, he's backed up actually. Grimfield will be starting a lap soon. Mercedes getting out of the way as well. So Kamarov pushing quite hard on this outlap, getting some temperature into those tyres. But yeah, Dragoon will be happy. His Frenchman Pierre Gasly, a very, very good quick driver on his day when he's on it. Coming away with a podium. Cracking drive from Pierre Gasly. The Dragoon, of course, will be super happy. So Kamarov and Darkmark, they only need 7 points to jump the current joint table leaders. So it's going to be it is a very close championship in the top 4, which is why I'm a little bit gutted the top 2 haven't turned up tonight, because you've got quite the fight here in RRF1 on Monday. So hopefully they return next week. Mr. Kamarov then is about to come around that tricky long left-hander. Foot to the floor, keeps it nice and wide, beautiful. That was really nice. That's how you do it around that section. He is looking switched on here. How will he compare to Danny and Hambo? They're the only drivers into 31s at the moment. We're going to find out in a moment through Sector 1 he goes. We've got no comparison to go through, but he is purple through Sector 1. He is looking right on the edge here. This is looking really quick from the Sergeant. 2 Alpha Tauris are about to come across the line, so we'll see if they can improve. So Big Perry does go P6 with very impressive time and into the 32s. As he mentioned before, he's nicked his setup from Google and feels a little bit all over the place. So good effort there from the platypus. And through the final chicane goes Sergeant Kamarov, right out towards the wall, really close. This has looked really quick. He's been right on the limit, has Sergeant Kamarov. How does he compare to Danny and Hambo? Round the final corner he comes in across the line to do a 31.9. He goes 100th of a second quicker than Hambo, but still a 10th off Danny. We've got a Mercedes of Ewan about to cross the line. He's a 10th and a half up at the moment. He'll be looking to consolidate his time. He goes P5 with a 32.6. Big D coming across the line, but he's down on his time, so he is at risk, I think. Betcher at the moment, 6/10ths up. We've got Rara on a lap as well, so we'll see what they can manage. Can Betcher improve and knock anyone out of qualifying? He can. He goes P9. Davies out of qualifying. Can Rara improve? He's 2.8 seconds up. I didn't see where he finished. We'll find out. P7 for Raratron. Great effort there at the end for Rara to get himself into the top 10 shootout. So we'll do a rundown now of the top 10. Danny then continue his fine form from last week. The German just under a 10th quicker than Sergeant Kamarov, and he is one of the quickest drivers I know that I race. I know there are some top level esports drivers, but Kamarov, one of the quickest drivers I race against. Hambo then P3 was one of the quickest drivers I raced against on the last game, so I don't know much about his pace on this game, but showing he still has some left in the tank. Zero then in P4, he's probably got more left. Ewan, great time in P5 ahead of Ollie in P6. Rara getting through in P7, very tight to get through there. P8 for Big D, P9 for Big Perry, and Betches gets through in P10, knocking out the Dark Mark, Davies, Scott, Whitey, and Grim Reefier. So Davies retiring early. Did not quite work out for him. He had the pace to get through to Q10, I believe. But unfortunately, did not time it well, as he is out then in Q2. So it would be a recovery drive from Davies. But we're into the business end now of qualifying. It is Q3 for these guys. We have two Williamses, two Alfa Romeos, a good starting point for them with regards to constructors. You've got one AlphaTauri, one McLaren, one Mercedes, one Ferrari, and one Red Bull. And just a reminder then, let's get the standings back up for the constructors of how that's going to look, because obviously Hambo now in that Alfa Romeo partnering Rara. If Rara can have a good clean race, then he is a consistent driver. He will pick up points. And Hambo, we know he has pace if he can just finish a race. Of course, that was a running joke from the last game. He win it or bin it, Hambo. He was either super fast or he was super dead. So we'll see how he gets on in this one. But there you have it. The constructors, Williams on 168 points. They've got both drivers through to the to Q3. Aston Martin have no drivers into Q3. They're currently second in the standings. The Haas have one driver through. Do they? Oh no, yeah, they have Ollie through, and then McLaren have Danny into Q3. With Mercedes, they've got Ewan through, and then the Alpine team, they do not have a driver through into Q3. Let's go back onto the stream. Spread has to return next week, or he hits the 3 DNS trigger. Oh, so Spread will have missed 3 races and was still near the top. Why are you Spread not racing? What a season he would have been having if he'd have actually raced. Of course, he is I think is he a 2-time champion or a 3-time champion of RRF1? Maybe he's got bored of winning championships and he wants to. I don't know. Maybe he's sticking his feet up so he can make a comeback. Super fast, of course, is Mr. Spread, and super consistent. That was always the most frustrating thing with me is racing Spread, is he was Mr. Consistent. Never made a mistake on the last game. You know, he could start P20, a bit like almost Max Verstappen-esque, just monotonous in getting that car to the end in the highest possible position. Yeah, 2-time RF1 champion, 3-time TSD champion, reigning Mad F1 champion. I think, is he a reigning PRF1 champion, or did Kamarov get that? I'm sure someone will correct me on that. But he was a... he just pissed out championships on the last game, didn't he? He was just a championship machine. But he'll say himself, he's not been quite as dedicated on this game. I'm the same. It's we're getting old now. It's a young man's sport. But we are on board with Ollie, who's going to set the first flying lap in the Haas. So he will get provisional pole unless he invalidates or bins it. 14 people watching the stream so far, so thank you so much for tuning into this RF1 race around Sin City. Just slip the wall a bit there. I'll try and name some of the real hotels. On the left there as we go past, that is the Venetian and the Palazzo. We're coming up to the Caesar's Palace on the right hand side now, and on the left you've got the lovely Paris Hotel, gorgeous hotel. You can actually eat at the top of the Eiffel Tower. Right hand side as you come past here, you've got the likes of the Cosmopolitan and the Aria as you then turn left. And you now turn back in, away from the strip. And across to on the start-finish line. But that drive down the strip, that's going to distract a few drivers with all the lights. But back to as they come across the line, it's a 1:31.9 for Ollie Champ. Let's get some of these details back up. Sergeant Camera for 1:31.7, so that is the fastest time we have seen so far. We have Betches coming across the line. He does a 1:33.1. We've got a Mercedes of Ewan coming across. What's he going to manage? Cameron has set the gauntlet down to Danny and Hambo. And, of course, Zero. And it's a 1:32.3 for Ewan. Mercedes puts himself in P. Throsar. Alfa Romeo of Hambo does a 1:31.4. Cameron throw down the gauntlet. Hambo has answered. What can Zero do? He comes across the line. He does a 1:31.697 to go P2. The big boys have got their balls on the table now. Dartmouth says that Betches, I'll let Betches fly the family flag in Q3. Oh, Betches, is it another member of the family racing? So that's let me know. Oh, so he's your cousin. So another of the Dark Mark family. I just claim it's your family. Whitey as well, part of your family. So it is a family affair here in RF1 tonight. Who have we got then crossing the line next? I just missed the Ferrari of Big D to do a 33.0. We have, Rara is... what's Rara doing? Looks like Rara's gone straight on there at that chicane. Can't see if he's got any damage there. Oh yes, he's missing his entire front wing. Something has gone wrong for the Raratron there. That is not the way you want to be taking that corner. Big Perry then, or Danny. So Danny's going to be the next one. So that is your sort of top guy from Q2, Danny. So we'll see if he can answer that fast time from Hambo, 31.4. Just gets a little bit squirrely there on the exit. That it may cost him traction all the way down before he hits his top speed. DRS wide open. Danny heading towards the tricky chicane at the end of this straight. He's got an Alfa Romeo, gets well out of the way. Good there from Hambo. Doesn't take quite as much curb as what we saw Kamarov do in Q2. But he's going to come across the line. What's Danny's first lap going to be? Take some of the curb. It's a 31.799. Goes P4. It's mighty close at the front. 5 drivers into the 131s. And I believe that is going to be everybody. Oh no, Big D's going round again. What can he manage? Oh no, dives into the pits. So that is everyone's first attempt over. So Hambo is your fastest man at the moment in the Alfa Romeo on his debut as a full-time driver at 31.4. That is going to take some beating as a 2/10 cushion over Zero in the Red Bull. Sergeant Kamarov currently third fastest, if I can get my words out, 2.5 hundredths. So just under 300ths of a second behind Zero, mighty close there, and Danny again just 700ths of a second back from Kamarov, just 1/10 of a second separating those three. Ollie Champ currently running in P5. He's a couple of tenths back from Danny. Then you've got almost a 4/10 gap back to Ewan, currently in P6, and then Big Perry, who is back out now on a flying lap. And, did he touch the wall there? He got a big bit of a tank slapper on. And, yeah, I think he's backed out of this lap. Yeah, big tank slapper there for Big Perry. Big D then a 33.0 at the moment. Betches in P9. And then Raratron currently in P10. Good effort from Raratron at the end of Q2. Got him into P7. in Q2, which put him through to the top 10 shootout. AlphaTauri of Big Perry, I imagine he'll come into the pits now. Yes, he is. So who is going to be the next person to come out and set their first lap, or their second lap, sorry, in Q3? Enter in the chat, get your predictions in. Yeah, it is going to be quite a crazy one. However, I have seen a few races here, and they've been some of the best races I've seen, because it's quite hard to get out of DRS, and the undercut is very powerful, but being on the better tyre is also very powerful. So strategy will be key here. Do you start on the faster tyre, or do you go long so you're on the faster tyre at the end? Because it can be quite a big advantage. And DRS is super powerful. I've seen 3-4 in a row, and the guy at the back end up in front by the time they get to the end of that long DRS straight. It's such a long drag. We will see lots of changes of positions. Marcus, did A72 get in the end? I don't know if he got in the end. I haven't seen his name pop up. Because, of course, that will then put us to, I believe... Oh, he's in. Cool. So I think we've got 17 drivers now for the race. Nobody wants to blink first, though, do they? Nobody wants to... Oh, as I say that, I think Danny is the first one to blink. So he will set the first of the final flying laps. So he will stay with the man who had an astonishing drive in Zandvoort last time out. From the back to the front. Some great moves, kept out of trouble. Got a bit of a frog in my throat. I do apologise if all you're hearing is me grunting and grumbling down the microphone. Haas behind, so the second driver out is Ollie Champ. Half a second at the moment, separating the top 5. Very close indeed. Danny needs to find 3 and a bit tenths if he's going to challenge that incredible lap from Hambo. That's almost pulled out of nowhere. He's not looked like getting into the low 34s all throughout qualifying, but he's obviously been sandbagging, and the sandbags have well and truly come out now. Everyone is now piling out onto the track. Just Rara still, just Hambo still in the pits. He's going to leave it as late as possible, or is he overly confident that nobody is going to beat his time because he is still in the pits? With a 1 minute 31 lap time, oh, there we go, he's coming out now. So he has left it extremely late. He wants as clear a track as possible. Tell you what, he's going to have to go some to get around. He's not going to be able to do a slow out lap, is Hambo. It has, hasn't it, Woods? It's gone very international. So Germany is represented by Danny, Wilco Stewart, Dutch, as well as 2 Bulgarians, a Canadian. Have you still got a South African? Have you still got, is it Master Revan? Is he still around? I don't know if he's still around. He's a very quick driver on his day. Super quick over 1 lap. So, here we go with Danny. We won't go on board. We'll let the camera angle do the talking. And after that, we've got Ollie Champ, Big Perry, and Zero BHR. I'm just reminding myself so I know who to flick onto next. So Danny then around the first couple of corners. Then you've got that long right-hander where the rear just wants to step out. You've got to be careful with the throttle, but he looks very quick through that first section. Pick your braking point. Nice and clean through there. Probably had a little bit extra spare on the outside there, but just keeping it within boundaries. Round he goes through this tight chicane, this long left-hander where you're braking, turning, changing down gear at the same time. It really is a tricky corner. But it's looking good so far for Danny as we head to the first sector split. He's 3 tenths up. He needs to find 3.5 tenths, but Danny so far has found 3 tenths already through Sector 1. It looks very clean and smooth indeed, and smooth does appear to be the way to go. You do not want to be overly aggressive through this, and Revan's brother is in TSD, so yeah, very international community, of course. There's about 7 or 8 leagues that all sort of work together, and it's great to see the community on this game. He's just under 3.5 tenths up. Is this going to challenge Hambo's time? Plenty of curb taken through there. Keeps it. It's a super smooth lap. I'm taking pointers myself for next time I race around Vegas. Smooth is the way to be. Less aggression. Round he goes, the final corner. Is he going to do it? It's a 31.5. Just misses out on P1. Ollie does a 31.8 to go P5. We've got the AlphaTauri coming through next to Big Perry. What can he manage as he comes around the final corner? Do a 33.0. It's the Red Bull of Zero. He's up in his time. Zero goes fastest with a 1:31.3. Answer that, Hambo, if you can. Alfa Romeo of Rara moves himself up to 32.4 with a 7th place. We've got the Mercedes of Ewan coming around next. He's just up on his time. He stays 6th with a 1:32.1. We've got the Ferrari of Big D. Goes up to P6 himself with a 32.1. We've got Betches coming around. He has invalidated. Kamarov, he's 2/10 up. Can Kamarov spoil the party? No, he can't. It's a 31.5. All eyes on Hambo. He has given up. He does not improve. He invalidated. Zero BHR breaks the Alfa Romeo Hearts right at the death with a stunning 1:31.3 to take pole position away from Hambo. Hambo left it late. He had to throw it on the line, but he invalidated his final attempt. Woody says that it could be his first wheel race of his clamp. Oh yeah, we've got your clamp extenders now, and you're in a play seat. Fancy. So you're going to be a second a lap quicker now with all your gadgets and gizmos come Wednesday. So let's do a quick rundown then of the final part of qualifying. Zero then steals pole position at the end with a stunning 1:31.3 away from Hambo, who is a 10th back. Danny just misses out on a front row start with a 1:31.5. Lost a bit of time in that final sector. Kamarov, a bit of a weaver across the line, so I imagine he was up but then didn't quite make the time he needed in the final sector. He does a 31.5. Ollie Champ just a half a second back from the pole with a 31.8. Big D a few tenths back in P6. Ewan in P7 for Mercedes. Rara gets P8 ahead of Big Perry and Betches. 1.8 seconds back from the pole. We'll start from P10. Cracking end to qualifying. It was a shootout to remember in Sin City. He who dares wins. Who gambled the most? And it was, of course, Zero BHR who hit the winning jackpot in Vegas. What a... £60. What a deal. Woodsy got himself a fancy little play seat from the good old-fashioned Facebook Marketplace. I'll tell you what, I've become quite obsessed with recently, Vinted. Half of my wardrobe now is other people's clothes. I'm not sure if that's a good thing to admit or not, but I just find it such a good deal. You know, people are getting rid of some of these really nice clothing. I went to an Indian wedding recently and bought an entire Indian suit, which, bear in mind, these are expensive shit. And it cost me, including the shoes, £24. And that was pants, jacket, collarless shirt, and white leather shoes for £24. Eat your heart out. And you got your wheel free from the Dart Lord. You've got yourself a cracking deal there, but I'm still expecting you now to be at least half a second faster per lap. No excuses. Half a second a lap. I want to see from you. So I got sent this lovely little logo before, this lovely little thing from Woodsy, which I absolutely love. So these are your this is your commentary team for season 10. So you've got myself and Gunners. So I'm taking the lead on Mondays now, getting back in streaming, and of course the Gunners, who is doing Wednesdays and Saturdays. And then you've got your co-coms who jump in now and again. You've got Hyper Igniter, Goomba, Woodsy, the man himself, Tom Stroudy, and Mad Mark V55, whose face looks a bit more like a pear there, doesn't it? It looks like the editing tool may have, I don't know, is that cut a bit off? Or just, maybe it's just the way the headset looks. But yeah, that is your commentary team going forward for Season 10. Lovely artwork done, great job there done from Woodsy as always. So get your, like as I mentioned, get your predictions in. Oh, Mad Mark made me Photoshop his face fatter. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, get your predictions in for your top three. As I said, Zero is your man on pole, ahead of Hambo, Danny, and Kamarov. I'm going to predict straight away now. Hambo's going to bin it. No offense, Hambo, but you're going in the wall. I'm going to go with a... I've not seen Zero race too much recently. So I'm going to go with a Kamarov win, Danny P2, 0 P3. And for a good recovery drive, I'm going to whack the Dark Mark up to P4. Hope that's not a jinx for him, but I think we're going to see a recovery drive from Dark Mark, get himself up there. With us, maybe it's a strategy call, we'll see. A big Perry Strat Masterclass incoming as well. Yeah, you see, you've made me nervous with your mention of your Google setup and how your rear end's all over the place. So, hope I'm wrong. Hope I'm wrong for your sake, Mr. Platypus. But that is my top 3, and like I said, my big surprise of the day is going to be Dark Mark. I think he's going to make a good recovery drive to get into the top 5, possibly P4. So yeah, get some predictions in. Let's see what you guys think. Yeah, he can keep himself out of trouble, does Dark Mark. And like I said, he's P4 on Championship, same level of points actually as Kamarov. And Kamarov is, like I said, one of the quickest drivers I've raced against. So a good result here. We'll see Kamarov and Dark Mark leapfrog the other two. Well, let's get the standings up and show you what is what. Like I said, I think Woodsy mentioned before, Kamarov and Dark Mark both need just 7 points to leapfrog Master Spread and Bacon Soda. So yeah, so Kamarov missed last week. Dark Mark was 4th last time out behind Atkins, who had a stunning drive last time, but he's not racing tonight. Al didn't start last week either. So like I said, a few people did not start, but they've got a few reserves in to fill the grid out, which is great to see. We want to see fuller grids. We want to see people racing. It's the place to be on a Monday night. So you've got the stunning graphics of Woodsy. You've got the sexy voice of yours truly. You've got the incredible vocal tones of Gunners on a Wednesday and Saturday. Tables updated regularly on time. Your stewards always fair. Yeah, so if you're watching this and you want to get involved, get in touch with Dark Mark and Woodsy. Get yourself a seat. There are a couple of seats free going on a Monday. Let's get this grid bouncing again. I want to see wheel-to-wheel action from 1st all the way down to 20th. So 11 front wing, and you've upped it to 16 for Q2. Not a bad idea. You want that turn, especially for Sector 1. But you need that straight line speed for that long drag down towards turn 14, because I did a race here and my wings were too high, and yes, you're quick through the twisty bits, but my God, you get eaten alive down that back straight. It is like taking candy from a baby if your wings are too high. So Mark V55 has gone for Kamarov, Dark Mark, and Ewan. An interesting shout there, Ewan. He's a quick driver as Ewan, but from every time I see him race, he always tends to have a bit of bad luck. So Kamarov, so that's 2 votes for a Kamarov victory already. So no pressure, Sergeant. Mr. Jack, but that's 2 votes already for Mr. Kamarov. Dark Mark so far has been predicted to have a very good recovery drive, and the formation lap is starting now. Don't just notice here, it's quite an awkward start for the people in the second half of the grid, because you're starting on a bit of a curve. So I'll have a quick run through of the order then while we've got everyone running round. Everyone appears to have moved, which is good. Mr. Platypus has said Big Perry top 6, heard it here first. So Big Perry currently starting P9. We'll see if the GOAT, the Platypus, can make it into the top 6. Let's have a see what tyres people have gone on to. There it is, tyres. So we've got Zero starting on pole. He's gone for the medium tyres, as has Hambo, Danny, and Sergeant Kamarov, and Ollie Champ. And then you've got your first difference. So Big D has gone aggressive at the start. He's gone for the soft compound of tyre on that Ferrari. Is that going to be a winning strategy, or is that going to be a typical Ferrari strategy? We will find out early on in this Grand Prix. Ewan has also gone for the mediums. Rara has gone for the opposite strategy. So he's gone for the hard. Rara, now that's not a bad shout actually. Starting on the hards, if the safety car is timed right for him, he could be with a shout for a very good result here today. If he can keep himself out of trouble. Like I said, he was unfortunate in Zandvoort, but he starts P8 today on the hard tyre. He's gone for the opposite. What can he do from there? Big Perry starting on the soft compounder tyres, same as Big D, so he'll be looking to make moves early on. He'll need to get past Rara early and Ewan to make use of those softs. Betcher's gone for the hard tyres. He's starting ahead of Darkmark, who's gone for the mediums in P11. As we mentioned earlier on, Darkmark and Davies both knocked out in Q2, which was a bit of a surprise. But they will start P11 and P12. Davies gone for the soft tyres. So a huge split in strategies, a huge spread across mediums, softs and hards. The top 5, though, all going for that medium. Scott has gone for mediums, and the bottom 3, Whitey, Grim Reefear and A72M, all started on those hard tyres. 16 drivers taking the grid then. Zero then rounding the final corner. A72 a bit far back. He'll be looking to catch that pack back up. Hopefully, I don't know what the view is like from comms on the start, but hopefully we get a good view of the start. Around the final corner he comes then. They'll line up, they'll all get their burnouts in. And there we have it. Is anyone going to disqualify? Ollie Champ disqualified. And they're all... And Big Perry disqualified as well. Betchy disqualified. Whitey disqualified. Grimrifier positions up. And A72 making them wait. Don't crowd Rara and Big D out. Yes, yeah, Mark. I was just thinking Big D has great race pace, and he's starting the softs. Here we go then. Are we going to get a good view? Let me go to the front of the grid. It's not going to give me a good view. The lights are going out. It's 5 lights. Look, but never stare. It's lights out and away we go. Who gambles hardest here in Las Vegas? Who's going to get us a good start? It looks like Danny's going to try on the outside of Hambo early on. It looks like they're all cleanly through, which is nice to see. It's a tricky first couple of corners. Big D and Ewan battling over P6. We've got Big Perry already down to P11. Not the start he wanted on the soft compound of tyre. A72 from P16 up to P12 and on the hard tyres. We've got Danny and Kamarov going wide, and Kamarov forced a little bit wide. Is he going to be able to get back up the inside? They're 3 wide. And the Haas then of Ollie is going up the inside of Ewan, but Ewan fends him off. Good defending there from the Mercedes driver, who's already up to P5. Big D is looking for a move here on Ollie, but not able to get it done. He's in the slipstream, and this has been insane from the get-go, just as we thought it might be. We've got Big Perry looking for a move. He's all over the back of White, the 2 AlphaTauris looking for a battle, and there's him a spin. Ollie Champ is round. Ollie Champ round. Has he been tagged there? Has he had a bit of contact? Big D also far back. So have Ollie Champ and Big D come together and missed it on the stream. Rara is looking for a move here. It's down. Who is fastest? They're side by side. The AlphaTauri is going to try and get a slave. Oh, we're going to go 3 wide. We're not. Rara's going to have to back out of that one, and he does. Meanwhile, Hambo is all over the back of Zero. We have a yellow flag at the back. I think it's Ollie Champ. Is it? No, it's not. It's Big Perry. Big Perry has lost it, and he is dropping down the order. That's such a shame for Big Perry. We have a VSC, so I wonder if... Yes, he's lost that front wing. So, mistake there from Big Perry. But by pitting under the VSC, it won't cost him as much time as it would as it was under under full racing conditions. And we'll go back on board now with, let's watch Hambo then on this. So Hambo was right on the back of Zero when that came out. Let's have a look at positions gained while we're waiting. Position gained at the moment, so you've got Whitey up 6 places, A72 up 5. As we wait for the VSC to end, you've got to be very careful not to pick up a drive-through here. And it looks like they're up and running again. Nope, still under VSC. There we go, they're up and running again now. No drive-throughs, which is good to see. Get the tyres back up, and Hambo and Danny and Kamarov are nose to tail. This is going to be a battle for the lead. As we move a bit further back through the field, is anyone in a position to make an overtake? Scott is looking for a move on Whitey. He pulls out of the slipstream. What can he do here? I'll keep my eye on the battles up front, but Scott is looking for the move on White. They're still side by side. Who's going to come out on top? Hambo is closing in up front as well, but not going to be able to make it done. Dark Mark watching on behind, and is he going to get a move done? Scott stays behind Whitey for now. We'll go back to the front because Hambo pushing all the way, almost pushing around the final corner. Is he going to make a move up the inside? No, he opts to stay behind. He was pushing Zero around the final corner there. Insane stuff. Further back we have, oh, who is that? That is Scott. Oh, and Scott is round. Such a shame for Scott. Final corner. We don't again know if there was contact, but round he goes. Davies, meanwhile, trying to look for a move on Grimfear as he tries. Oh, big crash. Big crash there. Just on the background. Ollie Champ. Out he goes. And that has brought out the safety car. Huge, huge crash from the Haas driver. That is a shame for Ollie Champ. Hit the wall hard there. And that is Scott there able to change his front wing. He'll be able to stay on the lead lap. Now, are we going to see any early pit stops? It's an early safety car. So, who is going to pit? Who is going to blink? Scott has obviously got his first pit stop done. He's opted to go to the soft tyres, so he will pit again in this race. He's going aggressive, try and make up some moves. So this is where strategy counts. This is where you make your money in the background. Who is going to pit? So Zero at the moment leads this race ahead of Hambo, Danny and Kamarov. These are your front four that were beginning to break away, but Yoon is going to be able to catch back up to them now. Betchers up to P6. So he at the moment is up 4 places. Rara up 1 place. Whitey up 6. Dark Mark up 2 places. He's in P9. Just keeping out of trouble is Dark Mark. A72 up 6 places. He's in P10. Grim Reefer up 4. Davies as he was in P12, but he'll be able to catch up to back to the pack now. Big D, after his incident, will be able to pick back up. So Ewan has opted to pit. The only one so far that's opted to pit. Is anyone else going to come into the pits? I think a few are near the back, actually. So Ewan is on his way out of the pits now. So yes, so A72, Grim Reefer, and Big D all coming into the pits. Will Big Perry opt to do the same, or will he try and get track position now? I think he's going for track position. Is he going to get out ahead? He should do. Will he get ahead of the Aston, though? That is the question. The Aston will have the inside line as they come out of the pits. Yes, he does clear him. So Big Perry then back up to P11 now. And Grim Reefer A72 taking advantage of that safety car to go into the medium, so they will both have to pit again in this race. So go back onto the... So they have your stoppers. Ewan, Big Perry, Grim Reefer, A72, Big D and Scott. None of them have gone to the hard, so none of them feeling confident that hards would get to the end of the race from here. So I would imagine all of them will most likely pit one more time. Scott opting to pit again. This time he's going on to the medium compound of tyre. Fresh mediums at that. I mean, I don't know if anyone's done Las Vegas. Can the mediums go to the end? Can you do 20 odd laps? Can you do 20 laps on a medium set of tyres? I actually have no idea. I just assumed you couldn't. But they've all gone on to... So Grim Reefer, A72, Big D and Scott all gone onto a fresh set of medium tyres. Could that be the strategy gamble that pays off here in Vegas? So still behind the safety car. Zero leading from Hambo. Danny in P3. Those three on the medium combat of tyres. I've just noticed Kamarov. What has happened to Kamarov? He has dropped down to P7. Why? So something has happened to Kamarov under the safety car, because he was behind Danny, and he's now behind Whitey, Rara and Betchers. So that is not ideal for Kamarov. He's now got 3 cars between himself and the front 3 who he would be expecting to battle with. And they aren't just going to wave him past. And yeah, I'm a bit unsure as to what's happened there. I can't see any damage unless he's run on somewhere or he's glitched backwards, or I'm sure we'll find out if he makes it to the podium. We can ask him. I've just seen as well, apparently, so Kamarov did his 31.5 in Q3 with wing damage. What an effort that is! Although, to be fair, having wing damage might actually help you down the long straight. So safety car will most likely be in this lap, just waiting for Big D and Scott to catch up to the back of the pack. These two close together on track. Big D, on those fresh medium tyres, could he be one to look out for? What we will do though is we'll go on board with... Should we go on board on the restart? Let's go on board with... Who do you think is going to have a good restart? Let's go with Kamarov. He's got the hard tyre runners ahead of him. He's going to be pretty aggressive on the restart, I imagine, because he's going to want to clear some of these as quickly as possible while he's got the fresher or the faster rubber. Safety car is in this lap. The question is, when does Zero go? Zero now controls the pace. It was a fairly late call as well, wasn't it? So he's still not gone. When's he gonna go? He's gone now. Bit of a swapper on there. And we've got a move there from the Mercedes. Where's the Mercedes gone? Oh, we've got another safety car. Why do we have another safety car? What is going on? What caused that? I'm a little bit confused as to what's happening. Is anyone missing any damage? Rara. Let's get these penalties. So Rara and Whitey and Ewan have all picked up 5-second penalties. So I wonder... Oh, it doesn't say safety car. It does say safety car. There is a... Well, there's the safety car. It said safety car. Now it doesn't... Help! Well, I'm going to take a wild guess that something has happened between Rara, Whitey and Ewan. Is there any wing damage to anyone? Nope, 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 no. I don't see any wing damage. Question is, do we have a glitched lobby? Or was that a genuine safety car? Because... Oh! Danny is at the back! Why is Danny... I'm guessing Danny got caught up in it as well. Danny is right at the back. So are we about to see another Danny recovery? We're only on lap 6. So there's plenty more racing to go on. What is happening? The safety car... Is the safety car coming in? Got no yellow flags. The safety car is staying left, so I think the safety car's coming in. So I think we are about to go racing again. So here we go. So Zero has gone. So hopefully it's a nice clean restart. Sergeant Kamarov right on the back of the AlphaTauri. He's going to look to make a move here, is he? No, not on this occasion. Anyone else looking for a move further back? Big Perry on the rear of the Alpine. Oh, we have someone going backwards. Dark Mark has had a moment. So Dark Mark heading backwards. This is not going to plan for the Dark Mark at the moment. As Big D goes past him as well. I don't see any damage on Dark Mark, but he is heading in the wrong direction. Hopefully I get my bearings back now, because I'm just a little bit confused. Telfie coming in with another Prime subscription. Thank you so much. I had no idea what subscription did to everyone, and so far I've gained 3 already in this one stream, so thank you so much for tuning in and watching me on my return to streaming. Oh, I just missed a battle there, sorry. While I was being distracted. Oh, what happened there? I just saw someone going wide. Someone is heading down. That is Whitey. So I think Whitey's had a moment. I just saw a car go straight on in the background. As we head back up Grimfia. We are 3 wide. Here we go. This is what we're talking about in Vegas. Sergeant Kamarov heading backwards in this. Who has got the fastest straight line speed? And it is Grimfia who's moved himself up to P6 ahead of... Oh no, Davies gets back ahead. So Davies up to P6. Kamarov is looking to... Has he got damage? Yeah, so Kamarov pitting there, so he does have damage. The recovery drive is in order for Sergeant Kamarov. Incidents are plenty. Danny up to P12 and gets a little bit of a tank slapper on there. It is 0 versus Hambo for the lead at the moment. Rara has been dropped. He's 3.5 seconds back, and he's carrying that 5-second penalty he will have to serve at his pit stop. Darkmark and Scott swapping positions there. Scott into P10, Darkmark down to P11 now, and in the background, Danny, did he hit the wall there? Has he got damage? I don't see any. Has he got away with that one? Read what I said. They got it for ignoring yellow flags. Oh, sorry. Okay. They got it for ignoring yellow flags. So, do you guys remove those if they serve it in the pits? I know most leagues don't. Kamarov has pitted for hard, so Kamarov will go to the end on those tyres. So is a recovery drive for Kamarov. Raratron has been overtaken by Big Perry. So it is now going to be a drag all the way down. Here goes Raratron. Who's got the fastest car? It's literally like a Las Vegas street drag race. And Rara goes for the move back up the inside. A lovely move from Rara. Sold him the dummy. The AlphaTauri went back in front, and Rara went to the other side, to the inside for the move up the inside. Getting my words all muddled here, I do apologise. And but he's lost out there on the straight. Oh, big crash. Big incident there for the Red Bull. And Davies there has lost his front wing. He was having a good drive, but he's going to have to crawl his way back to the pits. Incidents galore, and something has happened to Hambo. I can't even keep it up with Hambo. Where is Hambo? Where is Hambo? Oh, there he is. So Hambo down to P13. Has that handed the victory to 0? Of course, you can never count out Kamarov, who is many people's pick for the win. Down in P14 at the moment. Battles galore here as Davies trying to hang on. Danny trying to fight his way back through the field. We've got Big D now making his way back through. He's currently in P5. He's on the back of Raratron. Zero saying there was a glitch. Oh, okay. So Big D then is looking for a move on Rara. Rara looking for a move on Ewan. They're all looking for a move on each other. Who's going to come out on top? Rara goes through. So does Big D. Is Big D going to look for a move on Rara as well? No, he's not. But they both move ahead of Ewan. Ewan on those 5-lap-old softs. Are they starting to wear out a little bit? We've got a move further back with the Darkmark and Grim Reefear. But I think Darkmark has come out on top there. Let's go back forward to the front because Big D is all over the back of Rara. He's going to make a move into turn 1. Up the inside he goes. But Rara is saying, if you're going to come past me, you're going to have to go a little bit harder than that. But this is now going to give Big D the DRS for the straight heading towards turn 5. Side by side to go. Big D gets P3. And ahead he goes. We're going to see him move further back. There's Scott making the move there on Davies, who is still driving around with no front wing. Fair play to him. I tell you what, he's not actually doing too badly considering that there's no front wing on that Red Bull. Let's see what it's like as it comes around this twisty section. Yeah, he's doing pretty good actually with no front wing. Oh, I say that, he just almost clatters the wall. Maybe he's hoping for a safety car, so it's not as bad for him. Zero at the moment is 6.7 clear of Big Perry. Big Perry's actually taking a bit of time out of Zero there. What can Danny do with Davies now? Now, the DRS train isn't helping these guys stuck behind Davies. As we move further forward, we've got some movement going on as Rara, A72 and you in all swap places, and Rara going for move up the inside again. Almost gets it done, but just gets squeezed out of room. And A72 holds on for now in P5. This is one hell of a battle as Scott now looking for the inside of Rara on the penultimate kink. The penultimate corner gets the move done. Is Rara going to be able to fight back into turn one? He's going to have a look up the inside. Not quite close enough though. Nice move there from Scott, making his way back up the field. Got a spinning, oh no, dark mark into the, oh, Davies! What's happened to Davies? Davies is out. There he is, out of the race. That is such a shame for Davies. Although his car is now moving. Is that a retirement on track? I think it is, unfortunately. I think that Davies has just retired on track there. We have a caution but no safety car. Let's have a look through who's closest to Big D. So it's the battle of the bigs. It's Big D versus Big P. Scott has just got past A72 while I've been watching this. Who's got the bigger D? Is it Big D or Big P? That's what we want to know. Raratron heading backwards as well. So Rara has had an issue. Round he goes. Such a shame for... Oh, careful on the rejoin there. Big Perry has been passed by Big D down the start-finish straight. Apologies for missing some of the moves here. My head's a little bit scrambled from the glitch earlier on still, and some of the issues this game has provided us. Yeah, Rara ghosted, but I think Davies may have retired on track. Thankfully I'm not a steward, so I don't need to deal with it, but just for your guys' information, Scott is looking for a move as the Mercedes of Ewan comes into the pits to get off those soft tyres. Scott, is he going to make a move on A72? No, stays behind as he goes around turn 1 and 2, which then becomes 3 and 4 before the next DRS straight. We're going to go on board now. Don't think he's quite close enough to make a move on A72 this time around, but he is closing. Is he going to be close enough to make a move? No, it would be a bit of a lunge if he did. Ewan comes out behind the dark mark then. Ooh, a little bit of contact there. Just a little bit, and A72 carries on. He does get a 3-second time penalty, but if he doesn't get any more, I have a feeling he may be within his rights to try and get that removed. Yeah, a bit of contact there from Scott behind A72. Send him straight on. He's picked up a penalty for doing that. So, yeah, if he... Ooh, that looked like Danny in the background just having a bit of a moment as well. So he's... I think he's got slight front left wing end plate damage because it looks a bit bent. I don't know how realistic the game is with bent damage there. Oh, there we go. There is the move. Scott gets the move done on A72. A72 slots in behind. There's a move further back as Hambo gets the move done on Betches as well. But here comes Rara. Rara looking for the move to make both Alfa Romeos go through. Gets the move done up the inside. And that was Rara back up into P9 now. Zero is now pitting off those tyres. He's gone to fresh Haas. Where's he going to come up in comparison to Kamarov, who had that damage? I think he's going to be quite a bit ahead of him, actually. Into the pits comes the Alfa Romeo of Hambo as well. And there's the crash. There is an incident there. Rara involved. Williams of Betches involved. We have seen a few scrappy moves tonight, but at a new track and a track like Vegas, you are going to see incidents. Does Betches have damage? I don't think he does. I think he's got away with that one. Rara then hangs on to P9 for now. Kamarov up into P8 now, so he's trying to make his way back through the field. Zero is 1.8 behind Danny at the moment. Danny not quite making the recovery drive that he made last week in Zandvoort. Big D leads this race now on those 8-lap old mediums. Now remember, Big D did pit under the safety car earlier on. Now I have no idea if those mediums will go to the end. I think not, but I don't know what tyre wear is like around here. So how long did Zero take his tyres? So Zero went about 12 or 13 laps on his mediums, so I would guess not is the answer. Big D will likely have to pit again. Ooh, we've got Ewan and Betches fighting side by side. Ewan has got that move done into P11. Got it moved done quite early. And he's also going to get the benefit of DRS as well. Betches is going to try and hang on as he holds on to that slipstream. Danny, meanwhile, on the back of A72. He knows that Zero's coming, so he's going to have to try and make this move. We've got a yellow flag. Why do we have a yellow flag? It is an Alpha Tauri, so Big Perry has had a moment, I think. He has, so Big Perry dropping down now. And Zero, I think, is going to get him as well, and he does. So Big Perry drops down the order. Oh, Kamarov has had a moment. Where has Kamarov gone? Kamarov, I think, has gone. Oh, he's managed to recover. But yeah, so Kamarov now down to P8. Not the race Kamarov will want to remember at the moment, but he's still going to be picking up enough points, I believe, to take the lead in the championship. So that's all he's got to focus on, is keeping the rest of the race clean and consistent, and he'll take the lead of the championship. Dark Mark currently behind him, 4.9 seconds back. He's in P9 at the moment. We've got Zero and Danny battling. So Zero, of course, was the race leader before the pit stops. Big D will now be praying for a safety car. He's had a great drive so far as Big D. His race pace has been very impressive. So Zero then, Danny gets the move done. Zero is probably going to follow him through. Now is Zero going to try and get the move done on Danny as well? He'll have the extra grip, but no, he just slots in behind for now. So Danny up to P3, trying to recover the race from the incident earlier on. But he has Zero all over the back of him. Is Zero going to try and make this move into turn 1, or is he going to wait for the DRS, head down towards turn 5? I think he'll probably wait for it. Yeah, just slots in behind. Still on board now with Zero. He's on 2-lap-old hards, Danny on 14-lap-old mediums. Been on those tyres since the start. Oh, huge amount of understeer there for Danny, and it's candy from a baby. And in the background, A72 is round. Round he goes. And that is dropping him all the way down the order. He's got to wait for all these cars to come past now. Oh, such a shame for A72. He's having such a good drive. But that corner will catch out most people. It's going to be a yellow flag. He's going to have to turn his car around. There's an Alpha Tauri coming, but he should have enough time now. And, oh, can't park there, mate. Round he goes. And, yeah, waiting for the cars to come through. That is such a shame for A72. He was a candidate for one of the drivers of the day. He was starting from the back. He's missing a front wing now. I know exactly what he's done because I've done the same thing myself. And the safety car is out. That loss of front wing and the time it took because he had to wait for so many cars to get past has brought out a safety car. And Big D is quizzing. He has gambled here in Vegas. He has put all his money on black and come up trumps. Big D is going to pit, and most likely, is he going to regain? Let's have a look at the interval to the leader. So Zero is 8.6 seconds back. Now will Zero pit? I imagine he will, because he isn't going to want to stay on the hard tyres. Yes, he is pitting. Will Scott pit? Is anyone going to go for track position? I imagine not, because everyone apart from Dark Mark is on older tyres. Kamarov could potentially go to the end, but surely he'll pit, and yes he does. So Kamarov into the pits, Grim into the pits, Dark Mark into the pits. Ewan is carrying on. Ewan is going for track position. Is he going to get the lead? Is he going to move up ahead of... Where's he going to come out? So Ewan has got P3 out of all this. Danny has gone for the soft tyres. It's a bold strategy call. He'll be very quick early on, but then he'll be slow towards the end of the race. I'll tell you what, this is going to be a barnstorming end. Kamarov back in with a shout now as well. He's now in P7. Everybody is pitting. Hambo now back within a shot to move himself back up on his debut. Like I said, brilliant qualifying from Hambo on his debut for Alfa Romeo, but the race has not quite gone to plan so far. Betcher has stayed out. Rara has stayed out as well, but they've not really gained anything by staying out. They probably don't have any fresh softs. Oh, they both gained past Whitey, actually. And A72 will have to do another recovery drive. He's serving that 5-second penalty, so everyone has served their penalties now. The only man with a penalty now will be A72, but of course if he doesn't pick up another warning, I imagine he could probably try and get that removed, because he got that 3-second penalty by being tapped by Scott at the chicane. Accidental, of course, but it did mean that he had to cut that chicane through no fault of his own. But of course, if he picks up another warning, he'd have got the penalty anyway. So we'll leave that in the hands of A72 and the stewards. Of course, unless the game has given him a straight 3-second penalty, in which case he can try and get it removed anyway. You spin me round and round. I bet that's Gunners in the chat. That has to be Gunners taking over. I'll leave the singing to you, Gunners. I'm not going to break the microphone just yet. But let's do a quick recap then. So Big D, it is the city to gamble where you can be a hero or a zero, and at the moment Big D is the hero ahead of zero here in Las Vegas. He has gambled on the safety car. He went for the sort of the early pit stop onto the mediums, and he now leads this race ahead of zero. And yes, as he just mentioned there, extra point if you're penalty free. So A72 at the moment, the only one with the penalty, but like I said, he may well try and get that removed. Ollie leads the session, but of course he's had that huge crash earlier on. So let's have a look at position gained. There it is. So at the moment we've got Big D 5 places up, and Mark did mention earlier on, look out for Big D and Rara, and Big D has really called this one well. He leads this race, and oh, Big D going for a big dive bomb on Bernd Maylander there. That wouldn't have been the smartest move. Maybe he was looking down at his phone or something. Who knows? But that was, tell you what, that would have been a clip for the race afterwards if Big D had wiped out Bernd Maylander and Zero inherited the lead. But yeah, 5 places for Big D so far. The safety car should be in this lap once the Ferrari catches back up. Zero currently running P2. He's led the entire race up to now, but he is in P2 and will have to find his way through Big D, who is no slouch himself. He will not be easy to get past. Ewan has opted to stay out. He's currently in P3. Danny now is back in touching distance of Zero in P4. Big Perry up 4 places so far in P5. Scott up 7 places into P6. Kamarov down 3 after a couple of incidents. Grim Reefy up 7 places into P8, so great drive so far from the Aston. Darmark up 2 places. A solid but not spectacular drive so far. I'm sure he'll agree with a couple of incidents as well. We have the yellow flag. Safety car is it coming in this lap? It's not mentioned it yet. Hambo down 8 places after starting P2. He'll be looking to make some moves. Betcher's down 1. Rara down 4. But he had that spin himself. Whitey up 1 and A72 up 2 after starting from the back because of the 2 DNFs. So we'll go back to the tyres and we'll go on board with Zero to see what he can do about Big D. When will Big D go? That is the question. Get rid of the menu so we can see what we're doing. I'll try and catch as many battles as I can, but is it going to be chaos like the last one we saw? Oh, Big D's gone! Big D has gone. He caught Zero napping a little bit there. Has anyone managed to make any moves? Oh, let me just take this back to interval so we can see everyone has gone through quite nicely. Hambo looks to be right on the back there. Oh, in fact, actually, he's made the move on the Williams. The Williams is looking to try and fight back, though. Hambo is on the back of the Alpine. Sorry, should I say. And Grim Reefia. Oh, I thought Grim Reefia was showed him as level with somebody there. So Hambo still there. Betcher's further back, and everyone cleanly through. Danny has made the move on you, and I missed that one, sorry. But up at the front, Zero is putting pressure on Big D, but these two are starting to pull away. Can Danny catch back up on those soft tyres? Hambo has got past Dark Mark now, and he's also looking for a move on Grim Reaper around the outside, which will come to the inside. What a move this is going to be from Hambo. Up the inside he goes. The Alpha Romeo man, balls of steel, as Big Perry picks up a 3-second time penalty. Dark Mark has got past Big Perry, has passed the Grim Reaper as well, and I've missed the move for the lead. Here comes Danny on them both. He's on the soft tyres. Big D in the slipstream. Yeah, I think Big D probably running a bit higher wings than the other two there. Down the inside goes Danny. And there's moves everywhere. Butcher's caught past Grim Reaper. There is a yellow flag further back. Who is facing the wrong way? It is Raratron. Raratron facing the wrong way. That's such a shame. Kamarov as well. What's happened to Kamarov? Kamarov in P10, trying to make moves. Slots in P10. He's behind. There is chaos all over the track. Hambo cannot keep up with the changing of positions. Hambo looking to make moves everywhere he possibly can. Round the outside, round the inside. He's ahead of Scott. Darkmark following through. Darkmark now making moves himself. He went onto the soft compound of tyre. Zero now starting to break away. We have a yellow flag further back, and Kamarov is round again. Kamarov down to P13. And I need to catch my breath for a second there. Let's have a look at Grim Reaper, who is all over the back of the AlphaTauri of Whitey. Big D at the moment has dropped back from the front two. Danny hanging on to Zero at the moment on those soft tyres. He's going to want to make a move early while he's got that extra grip. But the front three have broken away from Ewan, who's on those worn medium tyres. Hambo is up to P6 making moves. But what can the Aston Martin of Grim Reaper do with Whitey in front of him? Scott's making a move here. So Scott and Betches. Ewan has been passed by Big Perry and Hambo. There are moves going on up here. Is Hambo going to do a double move? He's going to try it. Is he going to go for the move at the inside? He is going to look for the move at the inside. But the AlphaTauri just hangs on and just forces Hambo wide. And Hambo is going to have to do all that hard work again, because the Dark Mark is now on the prowl. Avada Kedavra, here we go. Fort Marcus goes for the inside. He's on the soft tyres. Is he going to have the grip? Just stays behind for now. ASM2 up to P9, his second recovery drive of the day. Looking good so far. Can the Dark Mark, he just runs a little bit wide. The rear just looks to step out a little bit on him there. Up at the front, you can see the gap has come down just 0.3. A72 and Scott battling wheel to wheel. They both got DRS. Who's going to come out on top here as they head towards turn 5 here in Vegas? It is A72 who has the inside line and keeps that move. He's in P10 ahead of Scott. Kamarov looking to try and fight back himself. It might be an angry Sergeant Kamarov in P12, but there are still 5 laps to go for him to rescue some good solid points. 7 points he needs to take the lead of this championship. Dartmark currently in P7. And yes, Bert Maylander nearly had a Big D in his rear. That would have been quite a interesting proposition for Bert Maylander as ASM2 gets back ahead of Betches into P9. And wide there, the two Williams nearly come together, and Kamarov has to avoid his own teammate once more through no fault of his own. Betches losing the rear and Kamarov having to take avoiding action, but he is up to P10 with 2 moves in 1. Ewan and Hambo, they're side by side. In fact, it's the Dartmark and Hambo. Hambo gets that move done. He's back up to P5, having to make multiple moves a lap, and it's Dartmark back down to P7. Moves all over the track. I said at the start of this race, Vegas is going to be a barnstormer, and it is proving to be so. Dartmark, is he going to make up the inside? He wants to make the move up to P6. Dartmark can take the lead of the championship here today. He's not led an RRF1 championship for a while, I believe. But here he comes on the attack behind Ewan. We've got a battle at the back here. Grim Reaper. Oh no, sorry. Betches is into the pits. Is he pitting for a new front wing? He is indeed. Let's go back to the battle for the lead, because Danny is now in the lead of this race. Danny, the winner last time out from a recovery drive, has had to do another recovery drive here today. I tell you what, he might just want a more interesting race next time out, but Zero is not going to let this go without a fight. Those medium tyres are going to become the faster tyre soon, and from personal experience, you want to be the man in second place come the start of the final lap. You do not want to be in front of your man down this long straight there on now. As we're on board with Zero, he's going to make this move. I think these two are just going to swap positions here. And yes, there we go. Big D in the background. Solid drive from Big D's consolidated P3. Dark Mark, though, is making a move on Ewan. Ewan slots back in. Dark Mark now up to P6 in this race. Like I said, it's he's kept himself out of trouble in the second half of this race. He's now started to make moves up to P6. A72 is making the move on Whitey and Sergeant Kamarov currently in P10. Can Kamarov make some more moves? Both these guys have penalties, and Kamarov will be looking to get ahead of these and see if he can get P8 on track for the end of this race, but he's probably missed out on any opportunity to and the AlphaTauri there of Whitey just lets Kamarov go there. I wonder if there was maybe a bit of contact and he was just showing some good sportsmanship. Let's go back up to the front because Danny is once again on the rear end of Zero. 2 races in a row, and I'm losing my voice 2 races in a row. Tell you what, I'm going to eat some food after this. Does anyone say Domino's? I fancy a Domino's. Sergeant Kamarov up to P9. He moves ahead of Whitey. Whitey's going to look to fight back, but nope. Oh no, that was it. Whitey let Kamarov go before, didn't he? That's my mistake. So Kamarov now will go after the Ferrari of A72. These guys are about 5 or 6 seconds behind Ewan, so they are battling for P8. We've got 3.5 laps left to go here in Vegas. The battle for the lead is well and truly on. Danny looking to make it 2 in a row. Zero looking to get the victory. Big D in third place. Great drive from Big D. Who else have we got? We've got Ewan on the back of Dark Mark, still looking to try and deny Dark Mark a 6th place finish. If one of the admins in the chat can tell me what position you need to finish. In fact, what's happened to Kamarov here? Kamarov looks to have had another moment somewhere because Kamarov is now back down behind Scott. Kamarov is having a race to forget, but at least he's still going. Fair play to him. P11. He's got Rarachon on the back of him. Rarachon now with the DRS. Past he goes. Rarachon takes P11 away from Kamarov. Danny has stayed behind Zero as well. Dark Mark, meanwhile, is back behind Ewan. He's going to pull out and go the inside of turn 1. These two are going to have a battle right to the end, you feel here. And Ewan is going to get the DRS back. We have a yellow flag. What has happened? Something has happened. Someone has gone backwards. It's Big Perry. Big Perry was having a great drive. Big Perry down to P8. He's had a moment somewhere. I don't think he's picked any damage, but that promotes Dark Mark up to P5. As it stands, Dark Mark is going top of the championship. He has Ewan all over his rear end, though. Danny, by the looks of it, is just hanging on behind Zero and waiting for that last lap pass. It's what you've got to do around here because it's so strong, the DRS. You want to be behind coming onto that final DRS straight. I wonder if we'll get some gamesmanship, actually. Let's have a look. I wonder if Zero will try and let Danny go. Sort of Saudi Arabia, Leclerc, Verstappen style. And yes, he is. And he is going to slot in behind. So Zero has let, well, I say let, the DRS, you don't get much of a choice. But he'll be more than happy to see Danny ahead because there's going to be 2 laps to go at the end of this lap. And as you start lap 25, you want to be in second. In fact, Ewan and Dark Mark going side by side again. It is Ewan this time who takes P5. Further back, Kamarov has made the move on Scott. I'll tell you what, I mean, he might be quite frustrated in the helmet, but it's been quite an entertaining drive from Kamarov. And further back, Rara is looking to move the inside of Scott as well. So Rara, same with him. He's had an entertaining drive, bless them. They're probably not in the positions they want to be from where they started, but they've had some entertaining drives. Dark Mark is once again looking on the rear end of Danny. Of Ewan. Zero, meanwhile, hangs onto the back of Danny. Hambo is looking. Oh, Hambo has caught the back of Big D. Hambo looking for a podium spot. Is he going to go for a move around the outside? Surely not. Surely not here. What would have been quite the move had he have hung that out around the outside. Oh, I tell you what. I've known Hambo for a while. But this would be heartbreak to see Big D lose this podium. He's driven a great race, and I would have loved to have spoken to him at the end. But I think Hambo may have his number here. But Big D, you know Big D is not going to give this up without a fight. He is going to fight this with every breath. But as we've mentioned, who will be the smarter driver? You want to be behind, and Zero has gone ahead. So Zero has taken the lead. Now, will we see... Oh, I thought he was going to let him pass there. Will we see any gamesmanship? So Hambo here is ahead of Big D. Big D, now if he can hang on to DRS here, could be back on for the podium. Dark Mark again, I think he's probably just going to stick behind here. I would if that was the smart thing to do. Yes, I don't think he's opening his DRS. I don't think he did, no. Right, let's go back on here. So my prediction is Zero is going to move over for Danny now, because he'll want the DRS at the end. Or he's going to try and break, because Danny is on 9 pole softs. No, he's going for it. So Danny needs to stay within DRS now. Big D has dropped out of DRS of Hambo. So Hambo has broken it. Dark Mark, meanwhile, is hanging onto the back of Ewan, but he's 7/10 behind. I think those softs are starting to crumble. I think. So the question is now, can Danny hang on to the back? Oh, and Danny runs a bit deep there. Just runs deep, but he manages to hang on. He's lost a couple of tenths there because he was 3 or 4 tenths back. He's now 6 tenths back. He needs to push. He's got 38% ERS. They've got similar sort of ERS, these two. How powerful is the DRS going to be? Who's going to win this race? Here we go. It's the final shootout on the final lap between Danny and Zero. Zero is going to have to weave, but you've got to be careful you don't weave too much. It's half a second. The gap is coming down. It's 4 tenths. It's 3 tenths. Here we go. 2 tenths of a second. Danny pulls out of the slipstream. Danny takes the lead. It's the final lap. Zero has no answer. It's going to take down to the final few corners. Danny is going to win the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Unless, oh, and a big slide from Zero out of the penultimate corner. Danny, a recovery drive again after a mistake earlier on. He qualified in the top 3. He went backwards. There's the slide from Zero. Danny wins the race at the end. Hambo is going to come round to finish in P3. Big D, a great drive from Big D. And you know what? Oh, it's hard. Who do you pick as driver of the day? It's hard. Dark Mark has got P5 from Ewan on the final lap as well. Sorry, missed that one. Oh, and they were very close over the line. Just 2 tenths in it. Dark Mark is going to lead the championship. Kamarov hits the wall hard at the end. Oh, he stays ahead of... That's a frustrating finish, but Kamarov, brilliant finish for Kamarov. Gets P7 in the end, so I believe they will both take the lead championship. But Dark Mark will be the lead of the championship. Big Perry finishes P9 at the end. A72 from P16. Whew. What are you guys doing to me on a Monday? I thought, you know what, I'll commentate. I'll have a breather. I'll catch my breath by not racing. Zandvoort was insane. Vegas was insane. Somebody tell me where we're racing next week, because both races have been absolutely insane. Yeah, Kamarov P2 in the championship, but requires an ambulance. As long as he's let go of the steering wheel, unlike Danny Rick, then hopefully he won't have a broken wrist. But you know what? That's fair play to Kamarov. He's not had his best race, but he kept going. He kept going. He's picked up a P7 and now leads the championship. Fair play to him. I've got a black screen at the moment, so I can't see anything. I literally cannot see anything. So Zero can't do interviews because his mic is broken. Fair play, Zero. Oh, they forgot to turn the lights off. It's a very dark Vegas podium, but it is a McLaren who's won. If you've got any clips, Mr. Platypus, just send your clips in after the race. So one of the admins will put into the chat on what to do with your clips. Just make sure you get them in. It was a great drive still. It's Vegas. It's tricky. It's a new circuit. It's never easy. But next week we are at Spa for a sprint. But there we have it. Danny P1 from P3 on the grid. That doesn't tell the whole story. Definitely a good recovery drive from Danny. Zero P2 ahead of Hambo. But again, a great recovery from Hambo actually. Big D started P6, gets P4. Dark Mark from P11 to P5, definite candidate for driver of the day. Ewan in P6 ahead of Kamarov, who recovered well to get P7. A72 gets P8. ahead of Big Perry. Whitey in P10, Scott in P11, Rara P12 ahead of Grim Refit. Betches gets P14, and of course you had your DNFers, Davies who retired, and who crashed dangerously? Ollie, that was it. Ollie had a big crash earlier on, so our winner was once again Danny. So we will invite him to the lobby. So invite, it's not a lobby, the party. P3. Oh, we've got to speak to Hambo. Invite to the party. And let's invite my driver of the day. Who's my driver of the day? I don't know. I'm stuck between Big D, Hambo, and Dartmark. Let's go with Dartmark. Invite to the party. So, guys, if you want to include your audio, I know you'll probably know how to do that anyway. So we don't have Zero in the chat. Sorry, in the party because his mic doesn't work. But a cracking drive from Zero, led most of the race, but lost the win on the final lap. Danny played it to perfection. I said with 4 laps to go, you want to be behind at the start of the final lap. And he was. And yeah, great. Once again, another recovery drive. But we'll start off with who's in the party. I haven't even seen who's joined. We have Danny and Hambo. So Hambo, eventful race to say the least. Great qualifying. Your debut for Alfa Romeo. Yeah, a bit eventful. Tell us about your race. You've ended up on the podium, but I'm sure that tells more of the story.
Yeah, no, qualifying was wasn't too bad. My first lap was half decent, but I lost like 4 tenths in the first corner, and then gained all that back on my second lap, and I just lost it like the second half of the lap, and then had to bail out. So it could have been a bit better, but yeah, in the race I was just following Zero. I was barely on the throttle on turn 2 or 3, whatever it is, and then I just kept turning. It was just, I don't know. It was weird. I was like barely on the throttle, and I just span. Fuck knows.
Yeah, that long right hand is horrible. I hate it. The rear just goes, see you later, I'm off to a casino.
Yeah, like no warning with the force feedback. It was just like, bye.
But you've kept your head down. You've kept on going. You've come away with a podium. You've broken the hearts of Big D fans all around the world.
Oh, nice, Big D.
Yeah, cracking drive. Next week we're at Spa. What are your thoughts on Spa-Francorchamps?
Yeah, I liked it on the last game. I don't know if it's any different, because I've only just recently got back into it. But yeah, I liked it on the other game. I don't know if it's probably the same. So yeah, it's half decent track if it stays dry.
Yep. Well, as the kids say on the games these days, GG's. Your race pace was OP and all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, great drive. I'll move on now to our race winner 2 weeks in a row. And I mentioned last week that you might just want a nice, easy race. And you said, nope, it's been more enjoyable. Well, you got that. Another recovery drive, an overtake on the final lap. And I think I may have burst a blood vessel. So, tell us about your race, Danny.
Yeah, quite interesting. Yeah, it was more interesting than I thought. But I was also coming into this race expecting I will do quite poorly because it's the first race on this track. And I didn't know what to expect from racing with other people here. And yeah, I learned a lot, and I wasn't really happy with the pace, but I mean, DRS just made the dream work, I guess. Yeah, but it was a fun drive. I think I had a little incident in the safety car where I got spun around, and obviously that made it a lot harder than it could have been.
Yeah, well, you've set the gauntlet now. You've got the likes of Hambo, Zero, Kamarov, Spread, Bacon. That'll all be coming for you next week because you've now got a target on your back. It's 2 wins in a row now. And I'm sure next week, I'll say it again just because you're making it for an entertaining race, but next week maybe you'll have a slightly more boring drive and you won't have to try and overtake the entire field.
Yeah.
But yeah, massive congratulations, 2 in a row. What are your thoughts on Spa? I think it's a sprint weekend next week as well.
Oh
shit.
Spa. Yeah, I think it's one of my favorite tracks to drive. pace-wise, I would say it's quite average for me, but I mean, it's Spa. You gotta love driving it. Always makes for an entertaining race, especially with weather changes. I mean, I would prefer it if it's wet, so we don't have DRS, but I mean, I'll leave that up to the game then.
Yep. Well, cracking drive. Thank you everyone for tuning into the stream. It's been an absolutely incredible race. 2 races in a row on my return to streaming, and you guys have entertained to the max. I've lost my voice a bit. I'm going to go and stuff my face with the dominoes. I have been Massey. Well done, everyone, and catch you next week.